As its iconic theme song states, South Park is full of friendly faces everywhere. Over the course of its soon-to-be 26 seasons, we've seen many friendships develop between both the children and the adults in this quiet mountain town. Given its long run on the air, many of these friendships have gone through their ups and downs, with some naturally being on much more better terms than others. Which of these friendships rank as the healthiest, and which ones leave us questioning if we can even really call them friendships? I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and this is South Park Friendships Healthy to Toxic. As usual, we'll be starting with the best and healthiest friendship in town and working our way down to the most toxic. These friendships are the healthy. The gold medal of healthiest friendship easily goes to the relationship between the two main characters, Stan Marsh and Kyle Broflovsky. The characters in South Park have undergone a lot of development over the several decades of the show's run, but few elements have remained the same from the very beginning. One such element is the very strong friendship between Stan and Kyle, which has been present ever since the episode Cartman Gets an Anal Probe. Stan and Kyle have very similar personalities and morals, making it easy to see why they get along so well. It's common knowledge among South Park fans that Stan and Kyle are based off of the two creators of the show, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, with their professional relationship mirroring the kids' relationship on screen.
Imagination!
Stan and Kyle do have moments where they butt heads, but that's only natural for two kids who spend much of their time together, and it doesn't stop them from easily obtaining the gold medal of healthiest friendship. This may be a bit of a controversial choice, but we're giving the silver medal of healthiest friendship to Timmy Birch and Jimmy Valmer. Timmy and Jimmy did get off to a rough start with each other, with Timmy becoming very jealous over Jimmy's popularity amongst the Mountain Scouts. In fact, there was even a pretty brutal physical fight. After their initial friction, Jimmy and Timmy apparently became close friends and have remained that way ever since. They're often seen working together, whether that be at summer camp, working on a science project about water bears, or creating a club for people who were disabled at birth. The positivity of their friendship often spreads to those around them, even being enough to convince the Crips and the Bloods to get along with each other. The two aren't afraid to challenge each other, such as when Timmy confronts Jimmy about his steroid use. While that does cause friction between them, it does show how much Timmy has come around to caring about Jimmy. If it wasn't for their friendship's rocky beginnings, we might have even given them the gold medal. As it stands, it's a strong runner-up, and easily nabs the silver medal for most healthy friendship. We're giving the bronze medal of healthiest friendship to Kenny McCormick and Butters Stotch. It may seem like an odd choice to rank this friendship so high up, as Kenny and Butters aren't seen interacting a whole lot over the course of the series. That said, what this friendship lacks in frequency, it definitely makes up for in healthiness. Ironically, Butters was initially Kenny's replacement, after the creators attempted to permanently kill Kenny near the end of Season 5. Once Kenny rejoined the cast for Season 7, Butters remained prominent among the show's cast, almost becoming a fifth main character.
Yeah, I guess so.
Most kids are seen beating down on Butters on several occasions, but Kenny never seems to stoop to that level. Butters claims Kenny to be his best and most mature classmate in the episode Going Native, showing there is a certain amount of respect between the two. Butters also will help Kenny if he's in a bad place, such as when he comforts Kenny after the latter becomes a cat pee addict. Kenny and Butters are considered by many fans to be the two most moral children in South Park, so it does make sense that the two would be good buddies. Next up, we're looking at the friendship between Terrence and Philip. We've seen enough of Terrence and Philip's behind-the-scenes interactions to confirm that there is some genuine camaraderie between them, beyond their television personalities. In fact, Terrence and Philip are the rare comedy duo that portrays their on-screen relationship very similarly to their off-screen relationship. It's true that many around them find Terrence and Philip rude and obnoxious due to their constant farting on each other and anyone else in their general vicinity. But with that said, Terrence and Philip have no ill intent and are usually looking to make each other or others laugh, as crude as the nature of their friendship is. Terrence and Philip managed to stay together throughout the years, with only one small rift wherein Philip left Terrence to perform Shakespeare during the episode Terrence and Philip Behind the Blow. Next we have a double ranking as we look at Kenny's friendship with Stan and Kenny's friendship with Kyle collectively. We're ranking these two friendships together as Stan and Kyle both treat Kenny very similarly on account of the two having very similar personalities. While not as close to Stan and Kyle as they are to each other, Kenny often accompanies the two along with Cartman on many different misadventures around South Park. Kenny often ends up in the worst shape, often dying in the process on their journey.
They killed Kenny! You bastards!
Kenny demonstrates a lot of loyalty and respect towards Stan and Kyle, much more than Cartman ever does, to say the least. Stan and Kyle consider Kenny one of the best kids in South Park, and frequently berate Butters for not living up to the high standards Kenny set as a friend. The only reason this friendship doesn't rank any higher in the healthy category is due to Stan and Kyle's occasional odd reactions to Kenny's many deaths. While they often act shocked and despaired initially, there have been a few times where they have acted indifferently or even laughed at Kenny's demise. I suppose no harm done since Kenny always comes back, but still, it's pretty messed up. Butters' friendship with Dougie O'Connell comes in next. Both Butters and Dougie are introduced as friends of Pip in the episode Two Naked Guys in a Hot Tub. While neither character was seen interacting with Pip all that much, Butters and Dougie did seem to develop a strong friendship afterwards. When Butters is fired as Kenny's replacement in Season 6, he plots with Dougie to take revenge as the two don the personas of Professor Chaos and General Disarray.
Whoa!
Butters and Dougie are often picked on by other characters, despite being good-hearted, so it makes sense that they would be good friends with one another. The only thing that prevents this friendship from ranking any higher is the number of evil plots they attempted to unfold as Professor Chaos and General Disarray. Granted, all the schemes failed, but it still sort of makes them partners in attempted crime. Rounding out the healthy category, we have the friendship between Jimbo and Ned, two friends who met in the Vietnam War. Jimbo and Ned are a couple of cliché rednecks who love guns, beer, and explosives. It's true that they do hunt and own a gun shop together, but Ned and Jimbo's friendship obviously predates their business partnership. In any case, Ned and Jimbo do seem to get along very well and have an inseparable bond. The reason why we rank them at the bottom of the healthy category is because there are instances where Ned and Jimbo have done some questionable actions together. This includes taking the kids on a dangerous hunting expedition, as well as killing Kenny, and teaching Cartman to spy on Scott Tenorman, only to end up watching his parents having sex. When they're not acting wildly irresponsible around children, Jimbo and Ned do have a very solid friendship. And that does it for the healthy category, so let's move on to the gray area. These are friendships which aren't totally broken, but they do need some serious work. At the top of the gray area, we get to our second double ranking, Butters' friendship with Stan and Butters' friendship with Kyle. Much like Stan and Kyle's friendships with Kenny, we're ranking these friendships together as the two have very similar relationships with Butters. From Butters' introduction in the series, Stan apparently already had a disliking for him, referring to him, Dougie, and Pip as Melvins. Even when Butters replaces Kenny as the fourth friend in the group, Stan and Kyle berate him along with Cartman and collectively kick Butters out of the circle for being lame. As the series progressed, Stan and Kyle's relationship with Butters has gotten better. They both stick up for Butters when the other kids are bullying him for not having kissed a girl, and they also postpone a trip to Casa Bonita due to worry when Butters goes missing. With that said, Kyle and Stan do occasionally still manipulate Butters, such as when they get him to dress up as a squirrel to take a picture with Britney Spears. Even though these two friendships have come a long way, they have to come a bit further for us to rank them in the healthy category. And rounding out the gray area, we have the goth kids' friendship with each other. Henrietta, Michael, Pete, and Ferkel are four kids who are almost always seen together and with no one else. Because of this, we feel it's fair to rank all of their friendships with each other, especially since they are so similar.
Yeah.
The goth kids are united by their hate for conformity, which caused them to break off from regular society and create a group where they all dress, act, and like the same things as each other. It's undeniable that the goth kids have a strong bond with each other, and despite what they may want you to believe, they are harmless. But we can't place them in the healthy section because they all seem to feed off of each other's negativity, and their goal to make everyone else around them miserable is enough to land them at the bottom of our gray area. With our very modest gray area complete, we now head into our toxic friendships category. And spoiler, we're going to be talking about Cartman a lot in this section. Speaking of which, we're starting off the toxic category with Cartman and Stan's friendship. Cartman doesn't have a healthy friendship with any of the other main characters, but out of all of them, we'd say his relationship with Stan is on the best terms. That's not saying all too much, as Stan still thinks Cartman is an idiot, though he does have more tolerance for his idiocy than Kyle.
I'm not who you think I am!
Cartman also does occasionally tease Stan, such as in the episode Rainforest Schmainforest, where he mocks him for being a wuss. Despite this, Cartman does occasionally show interest in becoming closer friends with Stan and seems to blame Kyle for preventing this from being achievable. Cartman does seem to have more respect for Stan than he does for Kyle or Kenny, even if there is still a lot of tension in this friendship. Moving on to another main cast dynamic, let's talk about Cartman and Kenny's friendship. It's very clear that Stan and Kyle are best friends, so it makes sense that the other two group members, Cartman and Kenny, are often seen as best friends as well. Despite this, we rank Cartman's friendship with Kenny even lower than his one with Stan, due to just how poorly Cartman treats Kenny. On top of always making fun of him for being poor, Cartman often puts Kenny in dangerous situations that lead to the latter's demise. Also, while Stan and Kyle have laughed at Kenny's deaths on occasion, they have shown concern for him in other situations.
God damn it, Kenny, shut the hell up!
Cartman never seems to care about Kenny's demise and even will use his fate for his own personal gain, such as when he used it to sell stem cells. This friendship misses out on the bottom three because from the other perspective, Kenny is inexplicably a good friend to Cartman. Kenny even wills Cartman as PSP out of pity, even if he admits he never liked him in life. Good on Kenny as always, but the poor kid really needs to find a new best friend. Taking a brief break from Cartman, the bronze medal of toxicity goes to the friendship between Nathan and Mimsy. Modeled after the Looney Tunes characters Rocky and Muggsy, Nathan and Mimsy are two handicapped kids who often serve as rivals to Jimmy and Timmy. While Nathan seems to harbor severe hatred and jealousy towards Jimmy in particular, Mimsy seems less driven by hatred and more or less follows Nathan's lead due to being very gullible. Nathan treats Mimsy as his lackey and often slaps him and tells him to shut up.
He's a drive-on dirt.
We have to rank this friendship so low, as we can't think of many redeeming factors. Nathan is manipulative, physically abusive, and condescending towards Mimsy, and the fact that their friendship is mostly built off of hatred towards Jimmy makes it even worse. The silver medal of toxicity goes to Cartman's friendship with Butters. Much like Stan and Kyle, Butters did not get off on the right foot with Cartman. Upon replacing Kenny as the fourth friend, Cartman often picked on Butters and mocked him for being lame, even more so than Stan and Kyle. Even after Kenny returned to the friend group, Cartman has remained oddly close to Butters afterwards, but this is almost entirely due to Butters being an easy target for Cartman to manipulate, whether that be for a laugh or for some scheme Cartman is trying to pull off. This has led to disastrous results for both Butters and Cartman, with the former being stuck in a bunker for over a week, and the latter having to dress up as a robot and go through hell in order to retrieve an embarrassing videotape. Cartman and Butters make for one of the funniest pairings in the entire series, but they also make for one of the most toxic friendships. Finally, the gold medal of toxicity easily has to go to Cartman's friendship with Kyle. Since the very beginning of South Park's run, there have been no two characters who have butt heads more frequently than Cartman and Kyle. Most would agree that this is not even a friendship, despite occasionally being presented as one. Kyle even says so himself on several occasions that he doesn't consider Cartman to be his friend. Personally, we would argue that just because they vehemently hate each other doesn't mean they aren't technically friends on some level.
Don't you ever talk bad about Kyle again!
These two, along with Stan and Kenny, do practically everything together, even if they're arguing the whole time. Cartman's hatred towards Kyle is rooted in deep-seated anti-Semitism, which enrages Kyle to no end. Even though Kyle is generally a good-hearted kid, he even goes as far as to take enjoyment in Cartman's pain and suffering, such as when he laughed at the news of Cartman getting AIDS. We could go on and on about specific instances, but any South Park fan knows how integral this conflict between Kyle and Cartman has been throughout the whole series. We'll sum it up by saying that these two easily deserve the gold medal for most toxic friendship on the show. But let us know in the comment section what your favorite South Park friendship is, and tell us what we should cover next. Remember to hit that notification bell and binge our Good to Evil playlist, where we break down the morality of the characters in your favorite shows. But most importantly, stay wicked.